Hi students, welcome to my channel, Department of Technical Education, Telangana. My name is T. Rajshekar, working as a lecturer in Civil Engineering, SRRS Government Polytechnic, Sircilla. So today I am going to teach you the subject of Construction Management and Entrepreneurship. So this is for the Civil Engineering final year students of 5th semester, subject code 18C 503. And we are in the first chapter, that is introduction and organizational aspects, and now we are going to see the today's topic, feasibility and project reports. Objectives: on completion of this period you would be able to know preliminary and detailed estimates. So now we are going to learn the preliminary and detailed estimates. So as I have told in the previous class regarding the preliminary planning, okay, and approximate estimates, okay, and we are going to learn now feasibility and project reports also. So in preliminary planning, what are the reports we are going to prepare, we are going to learn here. And next, differentiate between feasibility and project reports. Okay, so these are the topics we are going to learn in the today's class. And once we recap, that is, in the previous class we have discussed that the data required for planning and the importance of planning. So why the planning is important, and the definition of planning, and what are the data is required for the planning, and why the planning is very important. So that we have discussed in the previous classes. So now we are going to see the what is preliminary plan. Okay, so these also have said in the previous. So once again you see the planning carried out by the engineering department on initiation of the proposal for a project either from public or government. So this is called preliminary planning, and here in preliminary planning we will be preparing the reports, so that we will call it as a feasibility report. So what is the meaning of feasibility report? So let us see here. Before starting a project, it is very important to convince the government and public by submitting a brief report to realize the need of the project and for acceptance by competent administrative authority. So here in the feasibility report, so here it is clearly saying that before starting a project, that means it is very important that we have to convince the government and public. So how we have to convince the government and public? So for a public, we have to explain the need of the project and employability of the project and how it is useful for the public, and whether it is an advantage or disadvantage, we have to explain to the public, and we have to convince them so that the project will be smoothly completed. Whether as for the government, we have to show the public is interested in this project, and what are the quantities and quality materials or estimation drawings we have to be prepared, and it should be submitted to the approval from the government. So then the government will be convinced by the proposals of the engineering department, which is submitted to the government from the public. Then the uh, which is the project will be sanctioned. So that whatever we are preparing the reports regarding from the public approvals and from the site conditions and total structure, how it will be there, that is known as the feasibility report. And moreover, here in feasibility report you can see submitting a brief report to realize the need of the project. So we have to submit the especially the need of the project in the feasibility report, because why this project is important. So whether this project is constructed, it is useful for the public or not, whether they can be used conveniently or not. So how this project will be successful be completed and how without any disadvantages the project will be useful or not, we have to find out. And next, for acceptance by competent administrative authority. So after preparing these detailed reports which are called feasibility report, okay, so these all we have to do before starting the project only. So before starting any construction project, so we have to prepare this feasibility report, okay. So these feasibility reports should be submitted to the government and convince them, and we have to approve them, so that we will call competent administrative authority. In the government, whoever the officials will be there, so that we will call them competent administrative authority. So this report which is prepared and convinced by the government, it will be approved and sanctioned to the public, so that this report will be useful before the starting of project. And next, a brief report submitted to convince the government and public for the acceptance of the proposal by competent administrative authority. So feasibility report consists. So actually, what are the things will be there in the feasibility report? So let us see one by one. First one is brief history of the proposal. So brief history of the proposal means actually what is the project, what is the use of the project, and this project is whether useful for the people or public, okay, that we have to explain very clearly in a history of the regarding the proposal of the project, okay. And next, necessity for the project giving reasons. So why? So suppose you see one example, if any villages or in any cities, towns, we need some of the project just like railway stations or any bus stands. Okay. So why railway stations or bus stands are required? Because the transport facility for the people should be traveled from one place to one place. So whether that project is important or not, so it is important. So just like that, we have to show the what is the use of the necessity for the project giving the reasons, okay. The reasons should be mentioned in the feasibility report. And the next is, you can see topography of the site. So this is another thing. So whatever the feasibility report we are preparing, we have to show the map of the site. So in that we will call it as topography. So where is the actual site is there, and where the this site condition, how it will be there, and we have to show the map of the structure of the site. So that is called topography of the site. And next is investment and returns expected. Suppose if you started any business, you will be maximum thinking how much profit you will get. So business means investment, and you will be getting the returns. Same like that in feasibility report also, if you are preparing any report, in that report you have to think how much investment you are keeping and how much returns you are expecting. So that is called investment and returns expected, okay. And the next is stages in which project could be made into use. So the project in which stages, okay, at what condition it is there, in initial or middle or final, okay. So what are the construction stages which are there before starting the project? So just like excavation or any concrete work or any reinforcement work, okay. So that should be prepared in the feasibility report. And next, sources of water, its availability, conveyance, storage and use. So that means in feasibility report, the water, sources of water, from where the water will be getting to the site, whether bore water or any river water or any tap water or any other purposes the water is coming. So that we have to show the source also, and how it will be useful, and what is the availability, how it will be the availability, the source of water, and conveyance, storage and use, and how this water will be useful in the construction site, and how this water will be stored. So that will be shown in the feasibility report, one of the main thing also, because what is the purpose of water in the construction site. So it is the major thing, the water is very useful for the construction. And condition of existing roads and expenditure for improvement. You can take the example of regarding the roads. Suppose the roads are there to be repaired. So we have to prepare the condition of existing roads and how much expenditure will be required for to develop the or improvement of the roads. So that also report should be prepared. So in that certain cases it also called feasibility report. Okay. So what is the road condition and what is the damage of the road and how it is spoiled and in future when it will be going to spoil totally, so that what are the improvements and care should be taken, that is called feasibility report. Okay. And in feasibility report more consists, that is availability of temporary accommodation for office buildings and storage of materials. So wherever you go in our construction sites there will be no permanent buildings. Okay. At the construction site we will be constructing the for storage of materials a sheds or any godowns or a temporary sheds or temporary buildings, and office buildings also should be constructed at the site conditions within the temporary purposes. Okay. So because to store the files and bills registers and employees details, everything will be there in the office buildings. Okay. And storage of materials are also very important, how the materials should be stored and what are the materials are required, we should be prepared in the feasibility report. And the next is total cost and how to meet it. So finally in the feasibility report how much amount, that means how much lump sum amount will be done, that is called total cost, and how to meet it. So how much cost of the site feasibility report you have prepared, that should be, and how should be it would be implemented, we have to show. So that is called the total cost and how to meet it. And next is approximate time to complete the project. So this is a major question for everyone, because the weathers cannot be what we will say, the weathers cannot be supported in certain cases, so that any strikes are also will be happen in the site, any accidents or any type of difficulties which we faced in the projects, that we cannot say. So in a in the certain time, so the project we can show this time to this time it will be completed, we will be informed approximately. And the next is preliminary planning. So this we have seen. So here in preliminary planning, while planning for the proposed project, site investigation along with detailed survey has to be carried out and the department has to submit preliminary estimate. So in preliminary planning, so while planning for the proposal project, okay, so whatever the project we are planning, we have to, that should be pre-planned. Okay. Whatever we have discussed, that is in the previous videos, site investigation. So what we will do in the site investigation? Regarding the soil testing and availability of materials and availability of manpower and availability of power generation. Okay. And moreover the water facility, so everything should be available at the near site. So these all will be implemented in the site investigation, that is also called detailed survey. So the survey also should be done taking the levels on the ground surface at the site location. How the ground levels are there, whether undulating or flat surface or curved surface. So that should be taken and should be calculated. And these all things should be proposed a project which is prepared, the feasibility report submit to the engineering department for the approval. So here site investigation and detailed survey. So what are the site investigation and detailed survey? You can see the site investigation and detailed survey will be carried out after the approval of the feasibility report. So this site investigation and detailed survey, after doing the site investigation and detailed survey, so we will preparing a report that is called feasibility report. And after preparing feasibility report, budget is also allotted for site investigation and detailed survey. So for a certain amount will be approved from the government so that we can do the site investigation and detailed survey wherever the site is there. And the next is detailed survey of area depending on nature of work. So this detailed survey is required depending upon the nature, because in sometimes rainy seasons or winter, in summer seasons the climate will be different and the soil climatic changes also will be different. So depending upon the nature of work, okay, whatever the instruments we are using, so we have to take the detailed calculations. That is nothing but detailed survey, okay. And the next is alignment of roads, canals, or location of buildings or dam or headworks. So this is the very important thing. So the alignment of roads means the way of roads, the canals in which way it is passing, whether it is in the site or not, or nearby any construction site, and the location of buildings we have to identify, and are any dam or headworks are there. So these are also we have to shown in the feasibility report, because that is for the future expansion of roads or any other climatic disasters from the structures, okay. So that should be kept in the mind, that is regarding the alignment of roads, canals or location. And next is exploration of soil exploration. So while testing the soil, you will know what is the condition of the soil, whether it is a good soil or any bad soil, whether it has very less bearing strength of a soil. So we will know that is exploration of soil, okay. And next is hydrological particulars. So this is another thing, the hydrological particulars which are prepared in the detailed survey should be shown, okay. And the next is information regarding local regulations and ordinance in force. So in the local we have to show the whatever the any legal obligations or any restrictions are there, that should be mentioned in the feasibility report. So and next is location of quarries. So this is also very important, because the quarries are very need to nearby location to for the materials, just like stones or any aggregates, okay, or any tiles, marbles which should be available nearby the site. So the location also very important nearby the site, okay. So that is called quarries. And number of cross drainage and cross masonry works. So if you are constructing any road, you can identify the cross drainage works and cross masonry works. That is nothing but in a project we have to describe the how many crosses drainage works are there and how many cross masonry works are there. So that is to be shown in the feasibility report. So whether it is a road work, it will be useful, and whether it is a building work, we have to show the how many rooms and how many columns or pillars are there, and beside the areas also should be submitted. And the next is availability of labor, wages, etc. So this is another thing. Nearby side, if the labor is available, they come with the less amount, and if the available term labor is at the out of state or any other long distance from the site, the labor wages will be high, okay. So this is another loss also. So that is we called availability of labor, wages, etc. And the next is existing and probable length of approach roads. So we can see here the existing and probable length. So now just general roads which are there, we can see if the future existing or expansion can be done or not, and the probable length of roads are there or not. So that also should be shown in the feasibility report. And the next is preliminary estimate. So this is called preliminary planning. So how the preliminary planning is done, now the preliminary estimate is also will be done. In preliminary estimate, that is nothing called primary estimate before the project starts. So here it is the approximate or rough cost estimate. So it is showing that it is approximate or rough cost estimate of the proposal work prepared for administrative approval, and it is accompanied by layout plan or site plan and a brief report of the project. So here it is showing that it is a approximate estimate or rough cost estimate for the proposal work. So whatever the projects are there, we will be showing, we will be preparing the estimates, so that we will call it as preliminary estimate. Okay. So after preparing the feasibility report and the preliminary estimate we are preparing, so we have to get the approval from the administrative. So that so and so concerned department gives the permission and sanctions the budget, then the project will be started. So that's why it is accompanied by layout plan. So our site plan. So whatever the site project we are constructing, we have to prepare a layout plan. Okay. So the plot area or the construction site area, how much it is there, it should be shown with the directions and it should be mentioned in the layout plan. Okay. So and that is called a brief report of the project. So a brief report of the projects generally mainly contains pre-planning should be done, and after that we have to start the work, what is the first work will be doing on and what is the second day work will be done. So that should be done and shown in the planning stages. Okay. So this is called the preliminary estimate. So this preliminary estimate is also we will call it as approximate or rough cost estimate. So here preliminary estimate is prepared considering the following. So how this preliminary estimate will be prepared? One is per unit basis and another one is plinth area basis. Okay. So per unit means per material, per any item we will call it as per unit. Okay. And per plinth area means the area of the carpet area of the building or any site, we will call plinth area basis. And the next is cubic meter or volume basis. So in these three cases the preliminary estimate will be prepared, and here in per unit basis which are there, that is schools and hostels, it will be prepared per student. Okay. And for hospital it will be for per bed, and for canals, roads and railways per kilometer length, how much canal length should be constructed and how much length of the roads and railways should be done. And next is bridges and culverts, that is per running meter. Per running meter, the length of the bridge, how much it should be constructed. So this will be shown in the per running meter. And water storage tanks. So this will be shown per cubic meter capacity of water. And next is plinth area basis for buildings. So this is used in the buildings, that is cubic meter or volume basis for buildings. We will be calculating in the form of cubic meter or volume basis for buildings. And here what is the necessity of preliminary estimate? Actually, why this preliminary estimate is very useful and necessary? It is used, that is for studying the various aspects of the work. So various aspects means in the construction sites or in the construction management, we can describe daily a new thing, or we can implement a new thing. So that is nothing but when studying the various concepts or any aspects of the work, we will be knowing the new thing. And next is for designing the financial position and policy for administrative approval. So here for deciding the financial position of the preliminary estimate or any administrative approval will be sanctioned. Okay, and next is to estimate the expected revenue in case of commercial projects. So in case of commercial projects, we will be expecting the revenue in the case. Okay, that is from the commercial projects only. The estimate also should be shown. And for analyzing the necessity and justification of the project. So this is a necessary of the preliminary estimate. So first of all, it is for studying the various aspects of the work, and next is for deciding the financial position and policy for administrative approval, and third is to estimate the expected revenue in case of commercial projects. So this is also in case of commercial projects only. And next for analyzing the necessity and justification of the project. So finally these all things will be done and checked for analyzing the whether the project is useful or compulsory or urgent. Okay, so this is nothing but the necessity of preliminary estimate. Now next one is detailed estimate. So up to now we have seen the preliminary estimate. Now let us see the detailed estimate. What is detailed estimate? So here it is the estimate of actual cost of the project as per current schedule of rates, and it is an important information provided in the project report. So what is in the project report it is shown that it is an estimate of the actual cost of the project. Yes, the comparison between the approximate cost and rough cost is very different. So approximate cost is no need of taking everything quantities. We can take approximately and calculate. So that's why we will get the approximate. But after taking the measurements, you may get more than or less than. So that is called the detailed estimate of the project work. And here some of the points are given. Detailed estimates also involves, that is, estimation of the quantities of all items of work based on designs, drawings and maps. So in detailed estimate you can see all the things, that is estimation of quantities of all the items of work, just like earthwork excavation, cement, concrete or steel cutting. Okay, bar bending schedule, that will be all shown in the sheets. Serial number, description of work item, length, breadth, depth, quantity, actual quantity, total quantity, or any other remarks which is there tabulated a table form. Okay, so here the detailed estimate involves mainly estimation of the quantities of all items of work based on designs, drawings and maps. And the next is preparation of standard data with the help of current schedule of rates along with a lead statement. So in the detailed estimate we have to prepare the standard data with the help of current schedule. We will call it as SSR, that is every year or every 5 years it will be changed standard schedule of rates. So from the SSR rates we have to prepare the statement, that is called lead statement. And next is preparation of the abstract showing the total cost of the project. So in the preliminary estimate or detailed estimate we have to show the total cost of the project and how much the cost of the project will be implemented and how much amount should be sanctioned. So that will be preparing in the abstract. Okay, so showing the detailed cost of the project. So you know the detailed estimate, the table also, just like serial number, description of item, length, breadth, depth, quantity and total quantity and remarks. So this will be in the tabular form, whereas detailed estimate will be shown. Now the next is project report. The final one is known as project report. So actually what is project report? Everything will be recorded and stored in the project report. The data which is prepared, the report is called project report. That is regarding the a total site investigation and feasibility report and financial reports. Everything will be uh, done by the project report. So some of the things we can see, the report which is describes the various features of the project so that one can understand the complete picture of the project. So here in the project report you can observe that is nothing but various features of the project, various features or activities which is shown and described in the project report, and that one can only understand the complete picture of the project. So how this project will be started and completed, and next what is the necessity, what are the mainly this project successful will be completed, and how it is eco-friendly from water. This should be implementing in the all cities. Okay, so from these all cities only the rivers or any projects which are there, okay, successfully done. So that is it will showing the project report all the things, waters, rivers, okay, canals, dams, okay, roadworks, railways, bridges, any other buildings, topographical maps, steep slopes, hills, mountains. So these are all comes under the project report. Okay, and here order of documents which are submitting to be placed at the time of submitting project report. So while we are submitting the project report, we have to submit the some of the documents. Those are, first one is the project report, what we have the prepared, and the next is layout plans and designs and drawings. This is very important after project report. The layout of the plans means you can see either house plan or any building plan. We have to prepare the site layout, and next we have to design the columns, beams or slabs and footings, and next further drawing should be done. With the help of drawing only the site construction work will be done. And next is general and detailed specifications. So for every item we will have the general and detailed specifications, so that should be mentioned here. And the next is analysis of rates. So the rates which are there from the standard schedule of rates SSR, that should be shown in the analysis of rates. For cement how much, for steel how much, and for the concrete cubic meter how much per one running meter length. So that totally should be shown in the analysis of rates. And the next is material statements. So we have to show the material statements also. So that should be submitting when the materials are taking or when the materials are submitting to the site, that statement should be there. So when the material has arrived to the site, and when the material is going to the site work, and when the material is transferred from one place to another place, so that receipts or statements should be kept in the project report. Okay, and the next is detailed estimate. So this detailed estimate finally should be submitted in the project report, so that this much amount is going to be happened. So that is known as the detailed estimate. So here the 6 documents are very important in the project report. Okay, and the next is plans and detailed drawings. This is another thing we have to keep in the mind, that without a plan we cannot draw or any we cannot construct any structure. Okay, and next detailed drawings. Regarding the plans we have to prepare the drawings also, just like footing plan, okay, column plan, how much the size of the column is there and how much the size of the footing is there, what is the depth of the footing, okay, and how much the column height should be there, and where is the slab. Okay, so these should be drawn comfortably and it should be prepared. Okay, so by that we have to exhibit the all quantities of items and detailed estimates. So next, project report consists, that is brief history of the project with reference to proposal. So any project which is prepared, we have to kept the data of the project in the report. So that is nothing but the brief history of the project. And the next is object, necessity and utility of the project. So actually what is the project? So why it is necessary and how we are using in the public. So that should be mentioned in the project report compulsory. So that is known as the object, necessity and utility of the project. And the next is topography, soil and subsoil conditions. So you can see here in the map or in the diagrams, we can observe the topographical maps of the soil and subsoil condition. So what is the soil condition in the above up to 1 meter length or 2 meter length, and at the below what is the soil condition, whether it is hard rock or whether it is loose soil, it should be checked. Okay, so these are all things happening because these things happening in the project report, missing of any files or any other problems will be happen. So these all should be recorded in the stores. Okay, and next is climatic conditions in the locality. So we have to check the climatic conditions also. Whatever we are seeing the climatic conditions, it will be changing the in the times. And here more equipment required. So what are the equipments are required for the project reports? Okay, in the project report we have to show the equipments which are using in the construction sites. So any type of site compulsory the excavator or the concrete mixers, transist mixers should be required because those are the major things in the constructions. And next is communication facilities. So this is the main thing we require because to come the site we have to need a transport facility, and to move from the site we need a transportation facility. So that is known as the main communication facilities required regarding the internet and everything. Okay, and availability of labor and their skill level. So we have to show in the document that the labor is available nearby the construction site and they are also skilled labor, so there will be no wastage and no time will be done. And next is the availability of materials. So from starting I am saying this availability of materials, workman, labor, because to run a project or to complete a project, these are the main things we require. So without a manpower or any power or any water, we cannot complete the project. And the materials also compulsory required. Okay, so here we are having the cost benefit ratio, method of execution of works, labor amenities, that is temporary accommodation for staff, etc. So these are some of the provided in the construction sites. So CBR, cost benefit ratio, it is the ratio which shows the cost benefits, and method of execution of works, how the construction execution works will be done, that should be shown in the project report, and what are the labor amenities and they where they have to stay, where they have to construct a house, temporary house, that we have to show, and temporary accommodation for the staff. For in the site condition the staff will be there, engineers, supervisors. So for staying them we have to construct uh, a temporary shed or any temporary platform for their availability in the constructions. Okay, so here some of the things are there, differences between feasibility report and project reports. So let us see here feasibility report, project report. In feasibility report, a brief report submitted to convince the government and public for the acceptance of the proposal by competent administrative authority. Whereas in project report, the report which is describes in detail the various features of the project so that one can understand the picture, the complete picture of the project and submitted for technical sanction. So this is regarding the project report. So comparison between the feasibility report and project report. And here feasibility report consists brief history of the proposal, necessity for the project, giving reasons, topography of the site, And in coming to the project work, you can see condition of existing roads, availability of temporary accommodation for office buildings and storage of materials. So, and next, investment and returns, stages in which project could be made into use. And in the project work, the total cost and how to meet it, and approximate time to complete the project. How much time is required to complete a project should be shown compulsory. So here, and brief history of the project with reference to proposal, object necessity and utility of the project. So this is a main category required for the projects. Okay. And the next is topography, soil and subsoil conditions. And in the prior work, we can see communication facilities, availability of labor and the skill level, and availability of materials. Okay, and cost benefit ratio. So these are the details we are requiring. And climatic conditions in the locality, equipment required, plans, detailed drawings, detailed estimate. Whereas method of execution of works in the prior work, labor, amenities, temporary accommodation for staff, etc. So this is the difference between the feasibility report and project report. Okay. So summary finally we have discussed today, feasibility report and site investigation and detailed survey, and preliminary estimate and detailed estimate and project report. Okay. So I think you can understand regarding the preliminary estimate and project reports. Okay. So thank you. Have a nice day.